Live from the National News Studio, Sri Lanka.
Bringing you the news from Sri Lanka and across the world, it's your national news broadcast on Sri Lanka Rupavahini Corporation. I'm Siobhan Pereira.
I'm Dilanjali Anand, and these are your headlines for tonight.
Hamas hand over all Gaza hostages in their custody to Israel. Minister Dr. Nalinda Jayatissa is the WHO chairman of the 78th session of Regional Committee for Southeast Asia. No country has completely achieved gender equality so far and should dedicate towards creating opportunities, emphasizes Prime Minister in China. Signs of a solution to the problems of the CEB soon. Police officer connected in the incident at Mount Lavinia court premises granted bail. A stock of live cartridges recovered from Moragahakanda reservoir in Laggala in Matale. State institutions running at a loss show high progress within this year. Health system in Sri Lanka comparable with high-income countries of the world, asserts WHO Director General.
For those and other stories in detail, and we begin with a news that is making global headlines. A major breakthrough tonight in the Middle East as Hamas has released the last of the living Israeli hostages under a ceasefire deal that could mark a decisive turning point in the two-year Gaza war.
The prisoner exchange took place amid scenes of relief and celebrations on both sides, with Palestinians welcoming home freed detainees and Israeli families reunited with their loved ones. In Gaza and Israel, tears of joy replaced the sounds of war. Under the latest ceasefire agreement, Hamas freed the final group of living Israeli hostages in exchange for dozens of Palestinian prisoners held in Israeli jails. The releases, brokered with international mediation, come as world leaders gathered in Sharm el-Sheikh, Egypt, for a high-level summit on peace. Among them, U.S. President Donald Trump, who addressed Israel's parliament earlier today, urging the country to turn military victories into lasting peace. The deal marks that many hope is a path towards ending a devastating two-year conflict that has left Gaza in ruins and replaced millions. In Gaza, families waved flags and cheered as buses carrying released prisoners arrived. Across the border, emotional reunions played out, parents embracing children and survivors returning home. But questions remain about how long the fragile ceasefire will hold and whether this breakthrough can truly bring the region closer to peace.
On local news, Prime Minister Dr. Harini Amarasuriya says that Sri Lanka reaffirms its commitment to advancing the rights and well-being of women and girls and translating principles into practical action for equality and dignity. She made these remarks while attending the opening ceremony of the Global Leaders Meeting on Women 2025 held at the China National Convention Center in Beijing.
On her arrival at the CNCC, the Prime Minister was welcomed by President Xi Jinping and First Lady Peng Liyuan. Later, the Prime Minister addressed the opening ceremony.
30 years ago, the world came together in Beijing for the 4th World Conference on Women under the theme Action for Equality, Development and Peace. The Beijing Declaration and Platform for Action, adopted at the conference by 189 countries, remains one of the most progressive and comprehensive instruments for achieving gender equality. It laid out a clear vision and identified 12 critical areas of concern, highlighting the systemic barriers women face across every sphere of life. By addressing these interconnected areas in a comprehensive way, the framework contributes to women's overall development. At the current pace, it will take an additional 137 years to end extreme poverty among women. Today, 47.8 million more women than men face moderate or severe food insecurity. Women also remain underrepresented in the fields that will shape our future, accounting for only 35% of all graduates in science, technology, engineering and mathematics. And in politics, gender parity in Parliament remains a distant dream, not expected to be reached before 2063. The political declaration adopted at the 69th session of the Commission on the Status of Women held early this year in New York, which also marked the 30th anniversary of the Fourth World Conference on Women, acknowledged a hard truth, that no country has fully achieved gender equality and the empowerment of women and girls. My country holds the honor of having elected the world's first female Prime Minister in 1960. Building on that legacy, our recently concluded general elections have paved the way for 22 women from diverse social backgrounds, including those from working class and marginalized communities, to take a place in the country's legislature, the largest number of women to be represented in our parliament. Our government now includes 2 women cabinet ministers, myself among them, as well as a woman deputy minister. We have pledged to create the structural and social changes needed to increase women's political participation and to ensure that women are represented in leadership and decision-making at every level across every field.
Now, the Director General of the World Health Organization, Dr. Tedros Adhanom Ghebreyesus, pointed out that the health system in Sri Lanka can be compared with that of high-income earning countries in the world. Child and maternity health, in which Sri Lanka ranks high, can be described as an achievement in Sri Lanka's health sector, along with the eradication of malaria. He made this observation addressing the inaugural function of the 78th session of the Regional Committee for Southeast Asia of the World Health Organization.
The conference commenced in Colombo today. Ministers, officials and representatives throughout the Southeast Asia region have joined the conference. Speaker Dr. Jagat Wickramaratne was the chief guest of the inaugural session, which was chaired by Minister Dr. Nalinda Jayatissa. He stressed that the discussions to be held in Colombo will directly affect nearly 2 billion people living in the Southeast Asian region and their welfare. Problems in the health sector will be taken care of during the summit, while there will be a review of progress of the past several years.
The last time I was here in Colombo was for World Health Day 7 years ago in 2018. That year was WHO's 70th birthday, but it was also Sri Lanka's 70th anniversary of independence. So I was here to celebrate both WHO and Sri Lanka. And I congratulate Sri Lanka for its many achievements in public health since independence. By the way, since 2018, I can see lots of changes also in Colombo. So congratulations. Especially focused on healthcare in this country has been free at the point of delivery since 1952, very shortly after independence. As a result, although Sri Lanka is classified as a lower middle income country, it had the health profile of many high income countries. Almost every woman who gives birth does so with a skilled birth attendant. Almost every child receives routine immunizations. You have defeated malaria, eliminated lymphatic filariasis, and maternal and neonatal tetanus. And Sri Lanka was the first country in Asia to ratify the WHO Framework Convention on Tobacco Control, and also the first to fully implement the framework. I congratulate the government and the Honorable Minister for its partnership and for the significant progress we have made together. Just in the past year, WHO is proud to have worked with the Ministry of Health and the Ministry of Education to conduct the Global School Health Survey of almost 3,000 children in 40 schools. We also developed an integrated community model for mental health care to facilitate transition of patients from acute psychiatric institutions to community-based rehabilitation.
This regional committee is the highest decision-making body for health in our region. It's a forum where we come together to assess progress, address common challenges, and set priorities for the future. The discussions we hold here over the coming days will influence the health and well-being of nearly 2 billion people who live in this region. The agenda before us touches on some of the most urgent issues of our time: strengthening health systems, building resilience against health emergencies, addressing the growing burden of non-communicable diseases, tackling antimicrobial resistance, and harnessing digital innovation to advance equity and access. These are challenges no country can face alone. They require solidarity, knowledge sharing, and collective action. Sri Lanka is proud to be a long-standing partner in this mission. Hosting this session is both an honor and a responsibility, and we see it is an opportunity to reaffirm our dedication to the values that bind us together as member states of this region. We are strongly committed to strengthening primary health care as the cornerstone of our journey towards universal health coverage. We firmly believe that a robust primary health care system provides the foundation for healthy aging and overall well-being. Sri Lanka is therefore delighted to champion this theme during this conference, reflecting our collective aspiration to build healthier, more resilient communities across the region.
We gather here today, united under the umbrella of WHO CRO, which is home to 2 billion people with a common vision that every person in our region should enjoy health in its fullest sense. Physical, mental, social and spiritual well-being, going well beyond the absence of disease. Our commitment is clear, to leave no one behind. Over the years, our region has faced many difficulties: natural disasters, conflicts, disease outbreak, and most recently, the COVID-19 pandemic. Each challenge has tested us, yet time and again, we have shown resilience, and we in Sri Lanka are deeply grateful for the steadfast support of WHO and our regional partners, for their technical expertise, solidarities, and timely assistance, which have enabled us to protect lives and sustain progress, even in the hardest of time.
A special discussion was held this afternoon at the Presidential Secretariat between President Andrew Kumar Dissanayake and representatives of the plantation companies regarding the proposed increase in estate workers' daily wage. The discussion focused on the proposal to raise the daily wages of plantation workers in line with the salary increases granted to public and private sector employees in the previous budget. President Andrew Kumar Dissanayake emphasized the importance of ensuring a living wage for plantation workers and improving their living standards. The President also discussed with the company representatives the methodology for implementing the wage increase. During the meeting, representatives of the plantation companies outlined the challenges currently faced by the plantation industry. In response, the President explained the government's policy to develop and strengthen the plantation sector and assured that the government would extend its fullest support in this regard. The discussion was attended by Minister of Plantation and Community Infrastructure, Samantha Vidyaratna, Minister of Labour and Deputy Minister of Finance and Planning, Dr. Anil Jayantha Fernando, and several other officials. Now, Mount Lavinia's magistrate has ordered to release the police officer on bail who is alleged to have assaulted a lawyer at the Mount Lavinia Magistrates Court premises. The relevant case was summoned before the Mount Lavinia Magistrates Court today. Considering the facts presented to the courts, the magistrate ordered to release the police officer on 2 personal bails, each worth 100,000 rupees. However, the police stated another B report has been submitted to the courts regarding lawyer Gururatna Vaninayaka blamed the relevant police officer using filthy language at the time of the incident. Accordingly, the case is to be resummoned on the 17th of this month. When the released police officer came out of the court premises, it was recorded in cameras that people gathered at the premises are carrying him along the road. Mount Lavinia HQI HTM Tushar has been transferred with immediate effect under the special duties basis, subject to the covering approval of the Police Commission. Accordingly, he was transferred to normal duties at the Medical Services Division. Police stated that this transfer was made following the basic investigations. Meanwhile, Police Media Division says that a false opinion is being circulated within the society that the relevant lawyer directly called the IGP to arrest the police officer who is connected to this incident. The Police Media Division stressed that such a telephone conversation with the IGP has not been occurred. When the IGP got to know about this incident, he has ordered to the SSP of Mount Lavinia Division and the Mount Lavinia HQI conduct a proper investigation. A special inquiry has also been started under the orders of IGP to conduct an investigation regarding the manner how the senior police officers acted following the incident.
A discussion was held between the Minister of Power and Energy and trade union representatives of the power sector regarding the problems arisen during the restructuring of the Ceylon Electricity Board at the Ministry of Power and Energy today. The trade union representatives have attended today's discussions as per an invitation by Minister of Power and Energy Kumar Jayakodi. According to our correspondent, all trade unions of the power sector joined the discussion. Union leaders said that they were not opposed to the restructuring process but only wanted it to be carried out properly. They said they were now engaged in discussions with the relevant authorities to find a positive solution to the issue. The People-Centered Energy Forum, in a communique, has conveyed its assistance to government regarding the restructuring of the Ceylon Electricity Board. The forum requests all employees in the power sector to join them in their genuine struggle in order to provide the consumer with a continuous supply of power at a justifiable rate. Technical Engineering and Superintendents Association, Independent Engineers Forum, along with representatives of 12 trade unions, have signed for a communique.
Former President Maithripala Sirisena was called up to the Bribery Commission this morning to record a statement. The Bribery Commission questioned him regarding a fraud occurred in an institution connected to Sri Lanka Freedom Party 15 years ago. Giving a statement about 5 hours period, he left the Bribery Commission premises. The Colombo High Court today fixed date to hear 4 cases filed by the Bribery Commission against former Deputy Minister Sarana Gunawardena. The Bribery Commission has filed these cases alleging him for committing a loss to the government in obtaining vehicles under rental basis when he was the chairman of the National Lotteries Board in 2006. The High Court judge ordered the relevant cases to be resummoned on the 19th and the 25th of November this year. The case relevant to the discovery of narcotic Sinimodara in Tangol was heard today through Zoom technology. The prison officials produced one of the suspects, Beliate Sana, to the courts today. The Tangol magistrate ordered the relevant 8 suspects connected to be further remanded until the 27th of this month. Colombo Magistrates Court today ordered to release the Economic Development Officer of the Niagam Divisional Secretariat on bail. He was taken into custody in connection with soliciting a bribe. Accordingly, the suspect was released on 2 personal bails, each worth 1 million rupees. The suspect was also banned foreign travels. The suspect has been accused of soliciting a bribe of 25,000 rupees to approve housing loans to the National Housing Development Authority.
And now for a few development news items. Development of the Mawale-Lukketi Road, which was in a dilapidated condition for a long time, commenced with the laying of concrete recently, participated by parliamentarian Nandana Padmakumara. A sum of 1.2 million rupees have been allocated for this project. Construction of the new sanitary convenience system of the Manga Accessory Primary School in Randepula, Valimada, commenced yesterday. Chairman of the Valimada Pradesh Sabha, Ajit Kumara Disanayaka, participated in the occasion. The government has allocated a sum of 3.5 million rupees for this purpose. The students were inconvenienced due to the non-availability of sanitary facilities in the school. Renovation of the Agunochia tank in Horopatana commenced after a number of years. A sum of 18 million rupees has been earmarked for this project. The tank bund, safety bund, sluice and canalway, which provides irrigation for paddy fields, are also being renovated. Carpeting of a 2-kilometer stretch of Rattota Kiulagoda Polar Road in Matale has commenced with the participation of Deputy Minister Kamagedara Disanayake. A sum of 33 million rupees has been allocated for this project. Parliamentarian Deepthi Vasalagi along with a group of others attended this occasion.
Chairpersons of the state enterprises say that the state bodies that run or ran under loss have been made profitable within a period of 1 year. They revealed these facts at a media briefing held today regarding the past year's progress and future plans of the public enterprises.
Chairman of the BCC Lanka Company Limited, Prasanga Pereira, said that the BCC had achieved significant progress in recent months, surpassing its sales target of Rs 125 million during the last financial quarter. He said that a dividend payment of 50 million had been made to the Treasury last week as part of the institution's profit distribution. The chairman further stated that apart from Treasury bills, the BCC held fixed deposits amounting to Rs 197 million and a separate bank deposit of 58 million rupees. He noted that these funds reflected the continuous growth of the business under the active contribution of employees and the intervention of the ministry. He added that the BCC was now ready to contribute further to the country as a productive and profitable state enterprise. Chairman National Paper Company Limited engineer Upali Ratnayaka said that their factory was now operating for 4 hours daily, doubling its previous production capacity. He stated that production had resumed in January and that by April or May, the company had reached a break-even level, managing all coverall operational expenses, including employee salaries, electricity bills and raw material expenses. He added that since July, the company had been operating with an operational profit and was implementing a payment plan to settle previous debts. He said that the company's next goal was to revive the paper city concept under a new vision to further develop the industry.
As of today, we have produced 12,000 metric ton of salt for our production site. We remain optimistic about achieving the remaining target within the financial year, definitely. In one point of view, we are producing. And we need to establish and expand our sales target, sales amount. So our organization is a growing organization in the financial matter. So we can see in March 2024, this company earned 502 million as a revenue. From that, the profit before tax, we can see 287 million. That is one of the achievements. But this year, March 2025, we could able to achieve 597 million. That is the highest achievement this year so far we have received. And 303 million we have received as a profit before tax. And now we have targeted to achieve the next year, March, minimum 750 million. And we have that confidence we can achieve that target with the progress and sales patterns.
Moving on with more local news, several newly appointed deputy ministers assumed duties today. Dr. Anil Jayantha Fernando assumed duties as the Deputy Minister of Finance and Policy Planning, while UD Nishantha Jayavira started duties as the Deputy Minister of Economic Development at the Ministry of Finance today. Secretary to the Ministry, Dr. Harshana Surya Peruma, and several others were present at this occasion. Aravind Senarath assumed duties as the Deputy Minister of Land and Irrigation at the ministry premises in Battaramulla today. Ministers K.D. Lalkantha and Dr. Susil Ranasinghe were also present at this occasion. The new Deputy Minister Dinidu Saman Kumar assumed duties at the Ministry of Youth Affairs. Ministers Sunil Kumar Gamage, Samantha Vidyaratna and Deputy Minister Ranga Gunasekara were also present at this occasion. Munir Mulafar started duties as the Deputy Minister of Religious and Cultural Affairs at the Department of Religious and Cultural Affairs. Minister Dr. Hiniduma Sunil Senevi and others were present at this occasion.
The Department of Meteorology says that the conditions of the wind patterns in the western, Sabaragamuwa, southern, central and northwestern provinces could be changed due to a movement caused in the intertropical convergence zone. Director General of the Met Department, Atula Karnaraka, says that severe lightning may cause due to this situation. According to the department, thunder showers accompanied by severe lightning are likely to occur at several places in the North Central, Sabaragamu and Uva provinces and Mathura, Hambantota, Gampaha, Mannar and Vaunia districts. Fairly heavy rains, about 75 millimeters, may experience in some places in the western Sabaragamu, central, southern and Uva provinces. The sea areas of Mannar to Chilau, Colombo to Puttil, via Gaul and Hambantota may experience showers or thunder showers. There may be temporary localized strong winds during the thunder showers. Sea areas of the coastal belt from Mathura to Hambantota can be rough from time to time.
Now for a few more local news items in brief. In a search operation conducted at the Moragahakanda Reservoir and surrounding areas in Laggala in Matale, 965 ammunition have been discovered. Among them are 448 T-56 live ammunitions and a stock of anti-aircraft live ammunitions. Police and Special Task Force jointly conducted the operation of the 11th of this month, and the operation was conducted following an information given by fishermen in the Moragahakanda area. A meeting between French Ambassador Remy Lambert and JPP General Secretary Tilvin Silva was held today at the JP headquarters at Palawat in Battaramulla. The ambassador stated that measures will be taken to further strengthen diplomatic relations between France and Sri Lanka. Tilvin Silva stated that according to the policy manifesto of the National People's Power, government has raised its concern to eradicate corruption and to minimize wastage of public funds. The 9th Women's Parliament Summit of the 68th Commonwealth Parliamentary Summit was held at Bridgetown in Barbados recently. Minister of Women and Child Affairs Saroja Savitri Paulraj joined the summit representing Sri Lanka. The proposals presented to the summit by her on the safety of women in politics were commended by the summit members. 41st birth anniversary of Dr. C.W.W. Kannangara, who is considered as a father of free education, falls today. A ceremony was held before the Kannangara statue of the Isurpaya premises in Battaramulla, held today to mark this occasion. Acting Minister of Education, Higher Education Nalin Hevage made floral tributes to the statue. And we go into a short break. Foreign news on the other side. Stay tuned, don't go anywhere. Madagascar's political crisis is deepening as reports emerge that President Andry Rajoelina has fled the country amid growing calls for his resignation. He faces possible impeachment for what lawmakers describe as abandonment of the post, while protests continue over the rising cost of living. According to reports, an opposition leader told Reuters that President Rajoelina left Madagascar on Sunday, though his destination remains unknown. The French broadcast RFI said he was airlifted aboard a French military plane. Meanwhile, the Mauritian government confirmed that Rajoelina's former Prime Minister Christian Say and businessman Ravalomanana also left for Mauritius urgently on the same day. Mauritius denied any interference in Madagascar's affairs, saying it was not satisfied with how the flight was authorized to land. Rajoelina has recently dismissed Christian Say in a bid to claim growing anger over power cuts, corruption and living costs. Protesters have also demanded an investigation into Ravalomanana, accusing him of representing the elite that had benefited while ordinary citizens struggle. Madagascar's defense minister has since held emergency talks with senior military commanders as tensions continue to mount.
On 25th of September,
deadly floods have swept through parts of Mexico, leaving more than 47 dead and many more missing. Rescue teams are racing against time to find survivors as torrential rains continue to batter several states. Rescue workers are searching for at least 38 people who remain missing after flash floods and landslides hit more than 150 locations across 5 Mexican states. Officials say at least 47 people have died so far as rivers overflowed and homes were swept away. The disaster was triggered by 2 tropical storms that jumped to days of heavy rain.
At least 100 people have been injured after 2 passenger trains collided in eastern Slovakia. Emergency crews rushed to the scene as rescue operations continued through the morning. Footage shows rescue teams and paramedics working at the site where both trains derailed on impact. Helicopter ambulances were also seen airlifting several of the injured to nearby hospitals. Authorities say there have been no immediate fatalities, but dozens of passengers suffered serious injuries. Early reports suggest the collision occurred on a section where the tracks merged into the single line. An investigation is now underway to determine the cause of the accident as emergency officials continue clearing the wreckage and providing medical assistance. Sports news, and it's not too good. The match between Sri Lanka and New Zealand in the Women's World Cup One-Day International Cricket Tournament will be played at the R. Premadasa International Cricket Stadium in Colombo tomorrow.
The match will commence at 3 p.m. and the spectators will have the opportunity to enter free. This will be the 4th match of Sri Lanka in this year's Women's World Cup Cricket Tournament. Sri Lanka lost to India in their first match, and the second game against Australia was abandoned due to rain. Sri Lanka were defeated by England in their third match by a margin of 89 runs. New Zealand women's team have played 3 matches with a single victory against Pakistan. Coach of the Sri Lankan women's team, Rumesh Ratnayaka, hopes that frontline batters of the team will be among runs in the match to be played tomorrow.
Well, that was a look at your news here at Sri Lanka Rupavahini Corporation. I've been Siobhan Pereira together with Dulanjila Ananda. Wish you a pleasant evening and a great week ahead.